Namaste. To talk about this city is to talk about centuries and centuries of history, culture and tradition, but it's also to talk about an exceptionally cosmopolitan and touristic place, and definitely an ideal spot for the nightlife. Despite being located in Europe, its inhabitants resist the European custom of many cities of going to sleep early. Here, the locals live intensely and breathe passion and dynamism, almost to the point of frenzy. The city has a deep mix of diverse origins. To mention just a few, the archaeological presence of pre-Roman, barbarian, and East Germanic peoples who populated this peninsula in times of the Roman Empire has been evidenced. Centuries later, the Arab, Syrian, and Berber peoples would arrive, who in less than 8 years conquered the entire region, except for a small strip in the north of the peninsula. During the time of Arab domination, which lasted for more than 800 years, the local population adopted Arab culture, language, and customs, who also brought their art, architecture, science, medicine, and literature. These embedded components were amalgamated with local cultures, and this would ultimately play a determining role in the historical evolution of the country. At that time, this region was known as Al-Andalus. Later, after the Christian Reconquest, the city began to grow significantly, generating important urban changes. Already in more recent centuries, at the hands of important architects and urban planners, the city experiences an avalanche of outstanding infrastructure works: wide streets, bridges, hospitals, and sewers, and others more intended for leisure, such as parks, museums, and pedestrian walks, positioning the city as equivalent to the important European cities of the moment. Today, the city has important economic access, such as services that amount to 85% of the region's total income, followed by industry and construction, with an increase in GDP of 11% during the last 10 years. This place is an ideal destination for large fairs, congresses, and professional conventions that bring together more than 2 million people a year. But some unique events stand out, such as the World Olive Oil Congress, the Antiques, Art and Collecting, and other interactive and dystopian experiences on the level of Broadway or Las Vegas. This city has a population of close 3.3 million inhabitants, and almost double that if we add its metropolitan area. The locals are colloquially called gatos, which means cats, who are people who belong to at least the third generation of natives of the city. If this is the recipe, then visitors or new residents should be called kittens. The city is vibrant, however, facing the challenges of big cities, such as heavy traffic and overcrowding. We're talking about Madrid, the capital of Spain and the community of Madrid, a place of strategic connection with famous and historical sites like Segovia, Toledo, and Aranjuez. From this place, we will proposing a new story about mediation. Now, mediation time. The proposed topic for today is empathy in mediation. A vital element to always keep in mind in negotiation and mediation processes is empathy. It is a significant resource for mediators and peace builders. The Psychology Academy sees empathy as an exceptional asset to process human emotions and decode the motivations behind the feelings that persons express on a daily basis. Let's put it bluntly. Mediation is a battlefield. Obviously, not just any battle. It is a very special one, where a confrontation of interests takes place and all parties involved, of course, want to make the best profit. The key is that to obtain the recognition of one's own interests, the negotiator must also recognize the interests of the other people involved in the negotiation and reach an outcome that benefits all parties. In this sense, through constructive and facilitative dialogue, an attempt is made to find friendly solutions to complex disputes, but this doesn't mean that it is no longer a confrontation of ideas and visions, where the contenders, in a gallant and controlled manner, manage their differences, each with a hidden agenda. Well, this is where empathy plays a fundamental role, since it is through it that adversaries can reveal and extract the true perspectives and motivations that underlie each word, gesture, or attitude expressed at the negotiation table. Empathizing can help mediators and adversaries better understand the conflict, especially at the time of convulsion and shadows created in minds and in hearts as a consequence of the unbridled competition caused by the dispute, which does not allow us to clearly see the path to follow. Empathy has various cognitive, affective, and sociocultural elements and components that are not easy to understand, digest, and control, in order to be able to align them in the defense of our interests. Because human beings in situations of emotional effervescence, sometimes we make inconvenient decisions. It may happen that in the heat of negotiation, we face moments of emotional blindness, in which we do not see the north and lose the empathy characteristic in a good negotiation. At these moments, we can get out of control, lose our roadmap, and be unmindful about where we are going. And this leads us to be easy prey for our competitors at the negotiation table. In group negotiations, uncontrolled empathy can incite even acidic outbreaks of violence. It is precisely at this moment in which we must maximize our self-control skills, put out the emotional fire, and get back on track with the negotiation according to our original flight plan and go further. If we see that in that moment of emotional storm, our emotions and feelings were kidnapped, at the very least, we must have the inner strength to suspend the debate and postpone it for a new occasion. in which we will undoubtedly have already reflected and will be able to move forward. In this sense, it follows that the internal mental and emotional work aimed at raising awareness about how to train our self-awareness, the deep knowledge of our instincts, and the design of internal strategy that help us control our emotional brain is a task that we must undertake daily. We could conclude then by saying that empathy, put at the service of mediation and negotiation, is that internal rational force that allows us to identify with others and share their feelings, from which we can better understand the essence of the conflict from the perspective of others and be alert with our conscience. In this way, we will be ready to manage the ability of aligning our interests with our emotion and explore mutually beneficial agreements that end the conflict through a balanced negotiation. The finest sunlight or moonlight wherever you are in this lovely planet.